Welcome to the Deep Dive. We're the place where we crack open fascinating ideas, find those unexpected connections that can genuinely change how you see things.
Shift your perspective a bit.
Exactly. So today, I want you to step with me for a moment out of the boardroom, okay, and into, believe it or not, a Pilates studio.
Interesting jump.
Right. Picture those controlled, really graceful movements, that deep core engagement.
Okay, got it. The reformer, the mat work.
Yes. Now, what if I told you that the very essence of how a body builds that incredible foundational strength? Well, what if that offers a surprisingly potent blueprint for effective, truly resilient leadership?
Ah, now I see where you're going.
This deep dive, it promises a shortcut, maybe, to understanding management through a completely fresh, almost embodied lens.
And that's precisely the intriguing bridge we're exploring today. Our source material introduces us to Caroline Berger. She's the founder of Fémynie Pilates and CEO. And she daringly proposes that the 6 core principles of Pilates, center, respiration, control, fluidity, concentration, and precision.
The big 6.
Yeah, they aren't just her physical well-being. She sees them as these powerful pillars for a stable, human, and, remarkably resilient approach to leading teams, whole organizations even.
Wow.
So our mission today is really to unpack how these physical ideas, these tenets, can be directly applied to, the complexities of modern management, give you tools you might never have considered before.
So what does this actually mean for you listening right now? I mean, this isn't just some interesting theory for like an academic paper, is it?
No, not at all. It's about practical, actionable insights, things that can genuinely transform your leadership posture, sort of from the inside out.
Right. So you're going to discover how to navigate challenges with maybe more clarity, foster better team dynamics, make decisions that actually stick.
Exactly. All by applying principles usually found in a movement studio.
Think of it like building your organizational core strength, so you can pivot, adapt, without completely falling apart when things get tough.
Precisely. It's about bringing a whole new dimension to how you lead. And that brings us neatly to our first pillar, center.
Ah, the center, or the powerhouse, as they sometimes call it in Pilates. Think about an iconic pose like the teaser, the one, balancing on your tailbone, legs out, body in a V shape.
Yep. Looks impressive.
And hard.
It looks incredible, almost effortless when done well. But it requires that deep internal core strength. It's not about brute force, not outward muscle, really.
Right.
And if you try to jump into it too soon, without that foundational inner strength, you're just going to wobble and probably collapse. So how does that translate to a leader?
Well, Caroline Berger's insight here is, I think, quite elegant. She suggests that a CEO, or maybe a team leader, launching some big project without first establishing a solid center.
Okay, and what does center mean here? It means having clear living values, not just words on a wall. Consolidated competencies within the team, knowing what you're actually good at. And a well-defined, understood culture.
Got it.
Launching without that. It's setting yourself up for that same kind of symbolic collapse, like falling out of the teaser. This managerial center, it's essentially the alignment between your vision, where you want to go, and the real resources and capabilities you actually have right now.
Makes sense.
But it's also crucially about a leader's emotional anchoring, knowing what truly grounds you, understanding and accepting your own limits, owning your choices with conviction.
That analogy of the teaser really does stick with me. For a leader listening right now, what's maybe a concrete, even surprising first step they could take, like this week, to start building their managerial teaser from the inside out?
That's a great question, because it starts with some deep reflection. Caroline suggests something often overlooked, but really crucial.
Yeah.
Explicitly articulating your core values. And then here's the key part, testing them against recent difficult decisions you made.
Ooh, okay. Like, did my actions actually match my stated values?
Exactly. If not, that's a signal your center might be misaligned or maybe just not strong enough yet. It's about accepting progress, doing it step by step. That ensures balance and stability, even when, turbulence hits. It's not about immediate perfection. It's about consistent, patient, internal work.
Okay. So with that foundational center getting stronger, how do we sustain that strength, especially when things get intense?
Right.
Just like in Pilates, the way we, breathe strategically becomes really important, doesn't it?
Absolutely. Let's delve into our second pillar, respiration, or, as Caroline puts it, the art of strategic breathing.
Strategic breathing. I like that.
Think of the 100 exercise in Pilates. It's demanding, right?
Oh, yeah. Holding that position, pumping the arms.
And through it all, you're coordinating this very specific rhythmic lateral breathing, that endurance, that ability to sustain effort without adding tension. It all comes from controlled breath.
Okay, but I can imagine some leaders thinking, look, I don't have time for breath work in the middle of a high-stakes negotiation,
Sure, it sounds a bit counterintuitive in the heat of the moment.
Yeah. Can you explain the immediate, tangible payoff? What makes this 100 protocol worth the effort in those pressure cooker situations?
Absolutely. Caroline Berger highlights how conscious breathing, used strategically in leadership, allows you to regulate the tempo of interactions.
The tempo, okay.
Yeah. And this isn't just about relaxation, though that helps. It enables better listening because you're less reactive. It allows for more effective use of silences, which can be incredibly powerful communication tools.
True.
And it helps with de-escalation in tense situations. It becomes an immediate tool for self-regulation.
Right.
It helps you maintain clarity and choose your words wisely rather than just reacting impulsively.
So it gives you that crucial pause.
Exactly. She even introduces a simple but honestly incredibly effective protocol. A counted inspiration, breathing in specifically to open your listening, then a longer expiration, breathing out to stabilize your voice, and then using short, precise phrases.
Okay, inspiration to listen, expiration to stabilize, then speak clearly.
You got it. It helps you stay in control of the conversation, not just yourself.
That sounds like a powerful transformation. I'm thinking of that story she tells about the impulsive industrial director.
Oh, right. Yeah.
He was apparently very competent, brilliant even, but his impulsivity meant he'd often lose the advantage in negotiations, like within the first 5 minutes.
That's the one.
How did this specific 100 protocol, this breathing technique, fundamentally change his approach? And more importantly, the outcome?
Well, his shift was pretty remarkable. By consciously adopting that protocol, counted breath in before speaking, longer breath out before responding, and then using a short, focused phrase heart, she calls it.
Phrase heart.
Yeah, like the core message. He completely transformed his negotiation style. He slowed down, which sounds simple, but it allowed him to truly listen and absorb what the other side was saying.
So what happened?
The result? Well, the deal took 3 meetings instead of just one impulsive one. But crucially, it secured a far more solid and sustainable partnership.
So quality over speed.
Precisely. It moved the whole dynamic from this sort of short-sighted attack-defense mode to a stable, productive dialogue, built on trust rather than just aggression or trying to win fast. The conscious breath literally bought him the time and the mental clarity to build actual rapport.
That's a perfect example of applied strategic breathing. And this concept, it extends beyond just individual interactions, doesn't it, to what Caroline calls breathing the organization.
It does, yeah. A really striking parallel emerges here. Caroline thinks of breathing the organization as this alternation between framing, setting direction, and giving latitude, or autonomy, much like effort and release and movement.
Okay, like an inhale and an exhale for the whole team.
Kind of. During exploratory phases, you encourage autonomy, experimentation that's like a collective inspiration to open up possibilities. Then, as you approach a critical milestone, you tighten the focus. More frequent decisions, quicker arbitrations, that's the collective expiration to stabilize and deliver. This explicit phasing, telling people which phase you're in, prevents that feeling of arbitrary whiplash. Why were we suddenly cracking down? It creates a shared tempo within the team, ensuring the whole organization moves more in sync, managing its energy effectively.
I like that idea of a shared tempo. Okay, now let's unpack our next pillar, control. In Pilates, control. It isn't about being stiff or rigid, is it? It often gets misunderstood.
No, not at all. That's a key distinction. Pilates control is really about the precise coordination of your intention and your movement, avoiding abruptness, protecting the body from injury. It's about dosing the effort just right for whatever task you're doing.
Right, efficient movement.
Exactly. So in management, true control mirrors that. It's intelligent regulation. It means framing expectations clearly, but without micromanaging every single detail.
Okay.
And it means adjusting plans strategically when needed, but without destabilizing the entire team or the project. It's fundamentally about accepting progressivity. Clear, incremental steps, regular feedback loops, and making fine corrections along the way.
Got it.
As Caroline Berger puts it, it's rigor, not radar.
Rigor, not rigidity. I like that.
Yeah. Trying to just hold a strategy or a team too tightly, especially without those proper foundations we talked about, the front center, is just an illusion of mastery. Authentic control actually comes from building steadily with a strong, flexible base.
That clarifies it perfectly. Can you give us maybe a specific example? What does intelligent regulation look like in practice versus, say, micromanagement?
Sure. Micromanagement often focuses on how someone does something, dictating the process.
Right. Looking over their shoulder.
Exactly. Intelligent regulation, on the other hand, focuses on what needs to be achieved and, importantly, why, while allowing the individual or the team some autonomy to determine the best how.
Okay.
So, for example, intelligent regulation might involve a leader setting clear quarterly objectives for a project, establishing regular check-ins, say weekly, just to discuss progress and obstacles, and providing specific resources or training needed.
That sounds reasonable.
Micromanagement, conversely, would be that leader dictating every single task, maybe reviewing every email draft, or even choosing the specific software the team has to use. It effectively stifles autonomy and problem solving. Intelligent regulation is about creating a robust framework, not building a cage.
A framework, not a cage. That's a great distinction. But then, okay, after all this talk of control and rigor, we move to the next principle, fluidity. That seems, well, almost like a paradox, doesn't it? How do you hold both structured control and fluidity at the same time?
It does seem like a paradox initially, but this is where the principles connect so beautifully. Much like how one Pilates movement flows seamlessly into the next, ideally. Fluidity isn't really the opposite of control. It's actually nurtured by having a strong center and that regulated breath we discussed.
Ah, okay. So they enable fluidity.
Precisely. Fluidity is the seamless transition between phases, moving smoothly from reflection to action, from giving guidance to allowing autonomy, from intense work sprints to necessary moments of release and recovery.
Right.
In an organization, fluidity means smooth transitions through change. And this is achieved, practically speaking, through announced transitions so people know what's coming, reducing anxiety, measured information flow rather than an overwhelming data dump, and what Caroline calls collective breathing pauses.
Collective breathing pauses. Tell me more about that.
These are moments designed to allow teams to actually assimilate information and adjust.
So it's not necessarily weakness or a lack of structure. It's more like a structured flexibility.
Yeah, exactly that. Structured flexibility. How would a leader actually implement these collective breathing pauses? Is it literally saying, okay, everyone, let's take a breath?
Huh. Maybe sometimes.
It can be. But it's more about building rituals around transitions or information sharing. It could be a dedicated 15-minute assimilation session after a major company announcement, or a structured team debrief at the end of a project sprint that specifically allows for processing and feedback, not just reporting results.
Okay.
Or even simply starting a really critical meeting with a moment of silence, or maybe some collective intention setting. It's about deliberately carving out explicit space and time for teams to process, reflect, and emotionally catch up.
So it prevents burnout.
Yeah, and allows the whole system, the team, to absorb change without seizing up or getting overwhelmed. Communication at the right rhythm and allowing for those collective pauses, those are key to fluidity.
Precisely. And that leads us very nicely to concentration, the power of full attention. In Pilates, concentration totally anchors your body in the present moment, right? It makes every instruction operational because you're fully there, aware of every muscle.
Mm-hmm. Total focus.
How does that translate to, say, the boardroom or a typical team meeting where distractions are just rampant? Phones buzzing, emails popping up.
Yeah, it's a huge challenge. Caroline Berger emphasizes how full, truly undistracted attention in meetings prevents that dispersion of energy and focus. It means genuinely listening before you formulate your response.
Actively listening.
Yes. Taking the time to maybe rephrase what you think you heard, just to ensure clarity. And ruthlessly prioritizing what truly matters in that specific moment, in that meeting.
Makes sense.
She even encourages very specific micro-protocols for meetings, directly inspired by the Pilates studio focus.
Oh, like what?
Like taking 2 conscious breaths before you speak.
2 breaths. Okay.
Then, rephrasing your point or understanding in a single clear sentence to ensure everyone's on the same page. And then posing an open question to encourage further dialogue, not just stating your opinion.
Wow. 2 breaths. Rephrase, open question. I can see how those micro protocols could cut through so much noise and misunderstanding in meetings.
Definitely.
How does adopting something seemingly small, like just 2 conscious breaths before speaking, how does that visibly change a meeting dynamic? Or maybe the quality of decision-making.
It's actually astonishingly effective. Those 2 breaths create a tiny micropause, but it's enough to break that cycle of immediate, often defensive reaction.
Right, that knee-jerk response.
Exactly.
Right.
This slight delay allows for a more considered, less emotionally charged response.
Mm-hmm.
And when everyone, or even just a few key people in a meeting start practicing this, discussions become less argumentative. They become more genuinely collaborative. Rephrasing ensures everyone is actually on the same page, preventing those costly misunderstandings down the line. And open questions invite true engagement and diverse perspectives. The visible change is a shift from people just talking at each other to actively building solutions with each other.
That sounds much more productive.
It is. This mindful approach truly enhances clarity and respect.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, when you give someone your full attention, it's a profound act of care, which perhaps surprisingly significantly improves decision quality.
Absolutely. Okay, and our final pillar is precision. Clear intentions, measurable results. Precision. My mind immediately goes to technical jargon or maybe obsessing over tiny, insignificant details. How do we translate precision into management without falling into that trap?
That's a common concern. But Caroline Berger clarifies that precision, in this context, isn't about obsessing over every minute detail. It's about the justness, the rightness, the clarity of your intention and your action.
Justness of intention and action.
In practice, this means setting clear and measurable objectives, explicitly defining responsibilities so there's absolutely no ambiguity about who owns what, establishing realistic deadlines, and crucially, using simple, unambiguous language that everyone understands. No jargon unless it's truly necessary and understood by all.
So, okay, instead of a vague goal like, I don't know, improve communication.
Right, what does that even mean?
Exactly. You're talking about something much more concrete, like reduce the approval cycle time for X by 20% within 90 days, measured by tracking start and end dates in our system, something like that.
Precisely that. It's concrete, it's measurable, it removes the guesswork.
Yeah.
And what's truly insightful here, a really profound connection Caroline Berger draws, is the link between precision and psychological safety.
Oh, interesting. Tell me more about that connection, precision and psychological safety.
Well, think about it. Ambiguity is often the enemy of safety. It breeds tension, doubt, anxiety within a team. People start imagining the worst. Or maybe they hoard information because they're not sure what's safe to share.
Right. Uncertainty creates fear.
Exactly. But precision clarity in roles, priorities, processes, even boundaries around work hours or communication expectations, that actually creates psychological safety.
That's a powerful connection I wouldn't have immediately made. Can you maybe walk us through a common scenario where a lack of precision, perhaps in something like a project brief, directly erodes that sense of safety for a team?
Sure. Consider a project launch where the roles are kind of vague, deadlines are maybe implied but not explicitly stated, and the success metrics are fuzzy, like make it great.
Uh-oh. Yeah, I've seen that movie.
Right. Team members will likely spend a ton of energy just guessing what's expected. They might duplicate efforts because they don't know who's doing what. Or worse, they might avoid taking ownership or accountability for fear of failing against some unknown standard. They might hesitate to ask clarifying questions, maybe assuming everyone else understands, and they'll look foolish. This ambiguity leads directly to anxiety, sometimes distrust, and definitely a reluctance to take risks or speak up with concerns or new ideas. It fundamentally undermines psychological safety.
Whereas clarity does the opposite.
Exactly. Clear language, measurable goals, regular checkpoints, they reduce all that mental noise and they build trust. Much like clear placement and instruction in Pilates, frees your body to move with confidence and purpose without fear of injury.
Okay, so we've got these 6 really powerful pillars: center, respiration, control, fluidity, concentration, and precision. How do we actually start applying them, in a cohesive way? Is there a step-by-step plan a leader could follow to integrate these?
Yeah, Caroline doesn't just leave it as theory. She outlines it much like a structured training regimen, building strength progressively so you don't injure yourself.
Okay, like a workout plan for leadership.
Kind of. You start naturally with the center, clarifying your mission, your values, understanding your real capabilities, getting grounded.
Step 1, center.
Then you establish a collective respiratory rhythm, setting up regular, calm communication rituals, how and when you share information. That's respiration.
Okay.
Next, you implement useful control, simple processes, clear decision criteria, and importantly, spaces for autonomy within that framework.
Rigor, not rigidity.
Exactly. After that, you actively work on fluidity, making transitions explicit, allowing periods of experimentation, creating the right for people to adjust course without fear of blame.
Managing change smoothly.
Right. Then you strengthen concentration, setting clear rules for meetings, managing interruptions, encouraging active presence from everyone.
Focused attention.
And finally, you formalize precision, defining clear outcome and learning indicators, setting realistic milestones, and building in ritualized constructive feedback loops.
Got it. So it's sequential, building on each other.
Yeah, each step builds on the last, and you validate through iterative success, small wins. You build organizational power and resilience without exhausting the organizational body, so to speak.
That's a very holistic, progressive approach. I like that. But what about when things inevitably don't go to plan? Because they won't always. How do we handle failure, or maybe more accurately, deviation, using these Pilates principles?
That's a crucial point, isn't it? And the Pilates approach to failure or making a mistake in class is actually incredibly insightful and, well, healthy. The instruction is usually observe what happened, learn from it, readjust your form, and crucially, without self-punishment or harsh judgment.
Ah, okay. Less blame, more learning.
Exactly. Caroline suggests thinking about it in two loops when something goes off track in a team or project. The first loop is a physical one. For the individual leader or team member, take a breath, consciously release any physical tension, return to your center, emotionally reground yourself.
Okay, manage yourself first.
Yes. The second loop is a collective one. For the team, conduct a factual and, importantly, benevolent debrief, not a blame session.
Benevolent debrief. I like that term.
It asks simple, direct questions. Okay, factually, what worked here? Where did we perhaps compensate or overextend ourselves? What's one micro correction we can try next cycle based on this?
So failure isn't treated as a dead end.
Not at all. It becomes a stepping stone for learning and resilience. It allows for quick, collective recovery and adjustment rather than getting stuck in blame or denial.
That's powerful. It really shifts the perception of failure from being this disaster to just data, an opportunity to learn. And speaking of progress, you mentioned earlier the distinction Caroline makes between speed and precipitation. Can you elaborate on that? Because often leadership demands speed.
It does, but it's a crucial distinction. Speed without a center, without those foundational principles of control, breadth, and precision we've been talking about, well, that's essentially just an accelerated fall. Or it's a frantic sprint that inevitably leads to burnout or collapse.
Right. Unsustainable speed.
Exactly. But speed combined with center, breadth, control, and precision that leads to sustainable, impactful performance. Real momentum. Caroline strongly prefers a stair-step trajectory for growth or projects validated by consistent micro-successes along the way over a dazzling, perhaps impressive-looking sprint that's followed by an inevitable collapse because the foundation wasn't there.
So patience is key.
Time isn't the enemy here. Time is actually the material from which solidity and lasting results are built. It allows for genuine, sustainable progress. Rushing often just creates more problems later.
That makes a lot of sense. And Caroline Berger even proposes a specific kind of body-mind managerial training to actually put all this into practice. What does that look like? It sounds quite revolutionary for management training.
It really is quite different from typical leadership programs. She advocates for training that moves beyond pure cognition, beyond just lectures and case studies. It integrates actual postural alignment and breathing exercises with work on strategic clarity, communication rhythm, and decision design.
So you're physically doing things related to the concepts.
Yes. Imagine a day of training that might actually start with, say, 20 minutes of guided postural placement and lateral breathing exercises. The goal is to reduce stress hormones, ground participants physically, and increase focus before you even dive into the strategic content.
Wow, okay.
Then you might work on strategic clarity, followed by exercises on team communication rhythms, then practical simulations involving control and decision-making, then exploring fluidity in navigating change scenarios, and finally, practicing present concentration techniques for meetings.
So it connects the physical feeling to the mental concept.
Precisely. It's designed to re-educate managerial posture, literally and figuratively, through embodied experience. The idea is that this makes the learning far more powerful and deeply memorable rather than just remaining purely intellectual. It sticks with you differently.
This has been an absolutely incredible deep dive. Seriously, filled with so many connections I never would have made on my own between Pilates and leadership.
It's fascinating stuff, isn't it?
Totally. Now, for our busy leaders out there who might be, rushing off to their next meeting right now, if you had to give a really rapid-fire summary, What are the three absolute key takeaways Carolyn Berger would probably offer to a rushed board?
Okay, rapid fire. She frames it beautifully with three core memorable ideas. First, an image, the teaser. Remember that pose. The takeaway is, don't attempt it too soon. Build that deep internal strength first, the fundamental core of your organization and yourself. Do that, and the form, the success will follow and endure.
Got it. Build the center first.
Second, a gesture, the 100. Remember the breathing exercise. The takeaway is, breathe your negotiations, breathe through your difficult conversations, control the pace, maintain your energy without unnecessary tension, and keep that mental clarity. Use your breath strategically.
Okay. Breathe strategically.
And third, a principle, benevolent precision. Set clear objectives. Use simple, unambiguous language. Provide consistent, constructive feedback. This isn't about harshness. It's about clarity that creates safety and trust.
Image, gesture, principle. Teaser, 100, precision. Simple, memorable, and really actionable. I love how it distills these quite complex ideas into such tangible practices.
Indeed. They're powerful because they're embodied. And maybe for you, our listener, here's a provocative thought to leave you with today. The body doesn't lie. When you begin to consciously bring center, breath, and precision into your own physical movement, maybe even just through a few minutes of mindful practice each day, you simply can't lead in exactly the same way anymore. You start to gain a different kind of stability, a deeper humanity, and a more resilient posture that permeates your entire approach to challenges and people. This isn't just a nice slogan. It's a practice waiting to be embodied.
Yeah.
So the question becomes, what Pilates principle, maybe just one, will you choose to embody first to begin transforming your leadership starting today?